Morning, good morning. Welcome everyone to another little update of mine. Today is day 121 and it is Monday and my first technical assessment is on Friday, so this is my final week. Had a fantastic weekend with my family here, which is nice. I had a chance yesterday to have I did a morning of work, and then the rest of the day I was just chilling out. Did another escape room. I can talk a lot about escape rooms on this channel. I feel like most people who are into hacking or something like this also have a slight interest in problem solving in a kind of physical sense as well, and so maybe they're interested in escape rooms. I've got my first escape room t-shirt. I don't know if you can see it in there. I'm obsessed with them. It's part of the reason. I'm not sure if I've actually talked about that on camera yet. That's part of the reason why I started, was because I was obsessed with escape rooms, and I realised after doing some hacking that this was pretty much identical to doing an escape room. Anyway, that's besides the point. So the last since my last update, what was that, about 10 days? It's been going well. I've just been working away at my dad's. I've got a little plan here of what I've been doing, so I can tell you a little bit more. All of last week I went back over all of the parts of the WAPT which I thought was going to be relevant to this technical assessment. So the technical assessment, what they've told me so far is that it's 24 hours hacking into a web app, 24 hours writing a report. Now I've already started the report. I'm about 20 pages into the report already, because they've already told me that the web app is going to have lots of the top 10 OWASP, top 10 that is, and then there's also going to be a little bit of reversing crypto to see. I mean, tomorrow I'm going to have a little look at reversing crypto, see if I can pick up anything, so that if there's anything blindingly obvious, then I'll be able to have a go at it, but I'm not going to get too hung up on it. Basically, I'm focusing on the OWASP top 10. At this point, if I can find 4, 5, 6 of the OWASP top 10, write them in a report, as long as the report's good. So they've already told me that the report is extremely important at this stage, and I've got a skeleton report. I've been building it out. I know that there's going to be a very weak security posture, so I've already written the executive summary. Obviously I'm going to potentially adjust it as much as I need to, but there's no point trying to finish this all in the 24 hours. I've written, as I said, the disclaimers, the liability section, I've written the table of contents, and I've done the table of contents, executive summary, strengths and weaknesses, which I haven't done yet. I mean, I've written it all out, so it's all ready to go. And I've done, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a SQL injection, pretty sure there's going to be cross-site scripting, hopefully there's going to be an XXE. XXE isn't really covered in the WAPT, which is annoying, because I would love, that's definitely going to be in there, and my knowledge of it is nowhere near as good as the other ones. But oh well. And probably hopefully going to be some session stuff, maybe some broken authentication, user enumeration, stuff like that. If I can get all of that into a report at this stage, hopefully that's going to be enough. I had a chat, so my sister works in, I'm not sure if I've mentioned it, but she works in cyber breach law, so she has a pretty exciting job, and she works with pen testers all the time, so I asked her, is there somebody, a pen tester, that you could put me in contact with, because in this last 3 months now, nearly 4, I've not had anyone that I can really speak to, and no one who's going through this process at the same time as me, no one who I can, bounce questions off or figure out what's normal. And so a week before I was just like, okay, what I'd really like to do is just to have a chat with someone who works in cybersecurity, say, this is what I'm preparing for, do you think that's okay, do you think I'm on the right lines, is there anything that you would recommend including in the report? And he gave me some good advice, which was cool, so I put that in, and just been writing up a lot of the report now, so it's all mostly done. I've already done a lot of the technical sections, so SQL injection, cross-site scripting, broken authentication, user enumeration. I've written those up with descriptions. I've left the proof of concept blank, and then I've written up remediation as well for them. So yeah, that's what last week was, just going through SQL injections, cross-site scripting, authentication and authorization, session security, file and resource attacks, and if there's anything else as well. Most of it is just that. So I went through all of the challenges again, went through all the labs again, wrote up a really solid methodology for each of them. So I've got it on here now. I've got information gathering methodology, so what I'm going to do when I start. Then I've got a list of attacks that I'm trying to find, which are SQL ingestion, cross-site scripting, XML external entity, user enumeration and passwords, session issues, file attacks, path traversal, unauthenticated access to restricted pages, and unrestricted file uploads. My plan for this is basically, I'm going to go in and I'm going to test for all of these. Any of them I find, I'm going to take my proof of concept and put them into my report, and that's it. I'm not going to try and figure out too much. I'm trying not to think on my feet as much as possible, which sounds crazy, but I'm trying to prepare as much as possible so that when I get in there I know what I'm doing, and I've got something to stick to and I can just kind of tick things off and keep moving. I'm hoping that it's vulnerable enough that with those I'm going to have enough to build a report. If not, then we're going to be in big time panic. But anyway, so this week now, of Monday to Friday before it starts, my plan, let me just double check, let me look at it here, is today I'm going to be going over XXE, and there's a little bit of vulnerability scanning which isn't on the EWPT, but I'm going to include it because even though I may not use it, it would probably be used, may not use the information, it would probably be used in a real assessment, and I'm trying to basically make the report feel as real as possible, so that's going to include a section at the end with additional scans and vulnerability scans and everything. So I'm going to put all that information in there, and even if I don't use it, it's going to look good. So basically I just need to figure out how to set up a vulnerability scanner for a web app and just take its output and into a file. That's it really. Tomorrow, reversing crypto, as I said, and I'm going to draw up a free mind map of a website that I'm going to manipulate in there. So I'm going to try and build up as many of the different blocks, different forms, kind of different sections of the website, different colours, everything like that, which will help me when I get in there. I'm basically going to just adapt that to fit the real website, so that again I've got a bigger idea of how everything's working, and it will help me prioritise which bit of the website I want to attack first. So if there's kind of login pages, maybe I'm going to start there as opposed to starting where there's a form, which is not as important, or could, if I were to get a SQL injection that may lead me to more interesting data, for example, things like that. Wednesday I'm going to continue doing the free mind map and finish off doing as much of my report as possible. Thursday, the day before, I'm going to do my methodologies, go through them all, not necessarily in Linux because I've already done that again and it would take me ages to go through all of them. Go through them, read over them, make sure that from reading it I get an understanding of what I need to do and that I've not left it, so that when I read it back in the real thing I'm like, what was I meant to say there? And my report. Friday morning, 9 AM, technical assessment starts. Saturday morning, 9 AM, report window starts. 24 hours for each. And that's it. So that's where I'm at the moment. I'm feeling relatively confident because, as I said, they stressed that the technical side of things wasn't paramount. They're going to give us a lot of methodologies when we start working. So at the moment, it was being able to write up a good report. The head of the company confided in me that they had some bad reports so far. So I don't really want to fall into that bracket, and I want to try and wow them with the report, which is why I've taken reports from like a skeleton report, but that wasn't to do with web apps, taken bits and bobs from like 4 or 5 different reports, trying to build it all into one. Then I spoke to this pen tester, asked is there anything else he would give me, anything else to include in it. He gave me some fantastic advice, etc. So I'm hoping that I'm able to go in. I'm going to be able to find these different vulnerabilities, screenshot them, put them into my good report, and submit it. And who knows? This time next week. No, I don't know when I'm going to find out. Actually, that's not true. This time next week I'll have submitted it, and then I can start thinking about the next technical assessment, which is about in a month's time for a different company, which is going to be more difficult, I assume. But I'll talk about that as I get to it. I don't really know if I'm going to end it here or if I'm going to include a little bit more from the rest of the week. I might just upload this. This was basically what I just wanted to say. But if there's an extra section, then enjoy that. If not, I'll see you in the next one.